Welcome to part 2 of our Pokémon challenge. If you haven't seen the first part, the link is in the description below. In short, this is a challenge in which my girlfriend and I choose each other's team, and whoever beats the league in the shortest amount of time with said team wins. The rules will also be in the description. Remember about the 4 YouTube mandatory bullshits, and let's continue our adventure.
After Koga, I decide to capture Tangela, our last team member. And to be honest, I don't think I'll be leveling it up too much. If I spend too much time training the wrong Pokémon, I could end up losing this challenge. After what felt like an eternity, I finally find and capture Tangela with an Ultra Ball. I name her Spaghetti, misspelling completely her name, and then move on to level up Mr. Krabs. My little brain completely forgot about Saffron City and tried to level up in the Pokémon Mansion for a while. After half an hour of leveling up, I got the keys for the gym and faced the trainers. Meanwhile, Mr. Krabs evolved into Kingler, and he went from tiny weenie crab to an unstoppable powerhouse. I finally realized my mistake of being in this island way too early and make my way to Saffron City.
Going straight for Cinnabar Island, I get the secret key and go to Blaine's gym, where I proceed to ignore all questions asked to me and flood the whole gym with Jellies and Surf, drowning everyone and netting me some good amount of experience points. I look among the remains of the drowned trainers in the gym to find Blaine, whom I challenge despite already being dead, and steal the medal off his corpse.
Inside the Silphco building, I train Mr. Krabs by fighting anyone in face-slapping distance and get ready for Rival Fivel, the 5th battle against our rival. The term Rival Fivel was something we got from watching J-Rose videos, and now it feels weird not calling it that, so Rival Fivel it is. Blue sends out Pidgeot and Mr. Krabs takes the lead. The bird is faster and uses Pocket Sand, making us miss after the first blizzard hits, so Mr. Krabs ends up stomping the bird down. Execute comes out and survives a blizzard. As if having sand in his eyes wasn't enough, Execute paralyzes Krabs. We end up finishing it off, but not before getting leech-seeded, just rubbing more salt on the poor Krab's wounds. Gyarados comes out and I decide to switch with Ducks, who almost gets killed with a Hydro Pump. But he proves to the dork that this duck kicks ass. That is, before Alakazam comes out, he knows what must be done, and sacrifices himself to let Stingy finish the job. As Charizard takes the stand, I realize that the only water move I have is in the hands of a paralyzed, almost dead crab. I try to poison it with Stingy, but it goes down. I try to chip away at his HP until I send out Fury. He is my only hope. Fury slams himself against the Not a Dragon, who survives with 1 HP. Afraid to miss the next attack, Fury fights fire with fire and the chunky lizard goes down. No time to rest because Giovanni comes next. I decide that Fury needs to level up a bit more, so I send him after Krabs, and of course he gets poisoned. After one-shotting the Nidorino, I switch to Stingy to take down the Kangaskhan. As Rhyhorn comes out of his Pokeball, he's met with a Mega Drain to the face and goes back inside his Pokeball in record time. And his last Pokemon, Nidoqueen, comes out, which we easily defeat after I remember that it's half Poison type and Mega Drain doesn't do crap against it. As a reward, the CEO of the company, the filthy rich guy that could live 20 lives without monetary problems, gives us a Master Ball. And since we won't be capturing any other Pokémon, I do what any other reasonable person could do.
Next on the list of people I want to piss off is Sabrina, but I can't gain access to her until I get rid of all her minions in Silphco. So I proceed to set the building on fire and challenge everyone as they come out of the building to save their lives. Because this is a Pokémon game, they cannot deny my challenge, and they slowly roast to death inside the building while the battle theme plays. Inside the smoldering remains of the building, I find Blue, who managed to hide in a closet to wait out the flames. He challenges me to a battle to put an end to my misdeeds, and I have no option but to accept. The battle starts the same way as always, with Pikachu versus Pidgeot, and Emolga being too weak to actually one-shot it despite the type advantage. In fact, it takes 3 hits to put an end to that bird, and out comes Execute. He paralyzes my electric Pokémon and reminds me once again why I hate this Pokémon. Pikachu, not Execute. Execute isn't my favorite either, but I much prefer it to its Alola variant. Shroomies is sent out and immediately gets poisoned, but manages to suck the life out of those eggs. Blue knows better than to take out his Alakazam, so instead Gyarados takes the field. I put it to sleep and switch back into Emolga so that it gets the chance to redeem itself. Despite it not being able to kill the Gyarados in one hit, I give it a pass. Alakazam comes out next now that Shroomies is nearby, and between recover and being fully paralyzed, Emolga utterly fails to deal any lasting damage to it. which is the perfect opportunity to send Shroomies in a clean turn. The Alakazam can do nothing but cry and plead as Shroomy slowly sucks the life away to leave nothing but a dried up corpse in the shape of an Alakazam. Charizard comes out to take revenge and incinerates my Shroomies with a simple ember. Jellicent comes out and sweeps the non-dragon dragon away with a surf. Giovanni was there too, and it took me literally 15 seconds to sweep his team away with Jellicent and surf. With that done, I finally admit to myself teaching Skull Bash to Shroomies to get rid of the TM was a mistake, and finally teach it Body Slam instead. I know I should have sold it or tossed it, but the magpie in me won't let me waste even the most useless item, which is why I still have Bite from Brock stored in the PC.
My next challenge is Sabrina in the Saffron City gym, and I'm sure Stingy can take care of her by himself. Kadabra comes out first, and Kadabra goes down. Mr. Mime comes out, and down he goes. Venomoth? More like Dead Moth. Alakazam? More like, oh shit, he's faster than us. Oh, he goes for Psybeam, and holy shit, he's going to one-shot us, and oh my god. Stingy survives with 19 HP, and Alakazam goes down with Twin Needle. That went from 0 to 100 in one turn. We were very lucky to survive that attack.
I too confront Sabrina. Shroomies body slams the Kadabra, slashes the Mr. Mime, and body slams a passing Venomoth that flew around at the time but was absolutely not part of Sabrina's team. The Alakazam manages to put up Reflect before Shroomies body slams it, but its psychic powers allow it to sense all the terrible things Shroomies has done to its evolutionary line and gets paralyzed in fright. Since my crab fungus now outspeeds the thing, and the critical hit bypasses all those pesky buffs like Reflect, I use Slash and completely annihilate the Alakazam before Sabrina can tell it to pull its head out of its ass, winning me the badge. I waste no time to go back to Viridian City in pursuit of Giovanni, ready to exact revenge for being considered the prime criminal of Kanto when everyone knows the title belongs to me. It takes me exactly one surf per Pokémon before Giovanni is defenseless, and I shove a stake through his heart, killing him instantly. To celebrate the acquisition of my new title, I give a Thunderstone to Emolga, and the little shit has the nerve to evolve on me!
Now it's time to beat up Blaine. Mr. Krabs loves to disappoint me by not one-shotting the Growlithe and the Ponyta, and we were lucky to beat Rapidash without getting flinched. And then Arcanine comes out, Fury's future form. Arcanine destroys Mr. Krabs, sends Scar to back heaven, and as revenge, Stingy poisons the dog with Toxic. Now it's a matter of time until it dies. Fire Blast sends Stingy together with Scar, and Fury comes out to avenge our team and assert dominance as the alpha dog, taking the Arcanine down with a dig. With our new badge in hand, we kick down Giovanni's gym door and challenge him again. Rhyhorn, one more time, goes in and out of his Pokéball in record time, this time drowning with a surf to the face. Dugtrio seems to be a bit more capable than Rhyhorn as it survives a surf with 1 HP, and as it goes for dig, I go for a cheeky switch to Dux to avoid getting hit. Dux sharpens his lick and beheads the beast in one clean slash. Nidoqueen comes out and I send Mr. Krabs out again, only to get paralyzed by the Nidoqueen. Mr. Krabs tries teaching her how to swim by throwing a tsunami at her face. Nidoking comes out to avenge his wife, but ends up meeting the same fate as her, and Stingy makes sure they both reunite in the afterlife. And his last Pokémon, Rhydon, sadly doesn't go down in one hit like his little brother, but that doesn't prevent Stingy from sucking the life out of him. With the last batch in hand, now we can go to our last destination, the Pokémon League.
Blue runs up to me after seeing the dead body I impaled in the front of the gym and challenges me to a battle. The fool. Emolga, despite being evolved, still fails at being an electric Pokémon. Although this time I'm willing to excuse his behavior because he's 10 levels lower than his Pidgeot. It's at this moment I realized I may be a little underleveled and I need to train. Jellicent sweeps Rhyhorn and Execute before Gyarados comes out. Jellicent softens him up a bit before I decide to give Emolga a chance to redeem himself. Again. And again, Emolga fails miserably at life and leaves Water Onix with a sliver of health. So Jellicent has to come back out to finish the job. I bring out Medicham to get a clean pivot into Hydreigon, who gets killed before killing it. It's at this point I know I will lose against Blue and kinda stop trying. I take out Shroomish, but instead of using Slash to bypass the Reflect, I use Body Slam and get taken out. I would have won if I had used Slash, and Jellicent could have taken care of the Charizard, but because I did not, I lost. After training in the Pokémon Mansion for much less time than I should, I try again to beat Blue. It goes mostly the same, except for the part where I cut the middleman and kill Rhyhorn with Lilligant to make her feel useful. And execute with Hydreigon, which means that when Gyarados comes out, I kill it with 3 Dragapeks. Hydreigon dies before it can do much, and 2 of my brain cells finally connect inside my brain, and I bring out Shroomish. I put it to sleep and kill it as it wakes up literally the next turn. Charizard is out and doesn't even need to attack before Shroomish dies, already used to this dance and song. I bring out my arguably starter to do some damage against his, but much to my surprise, Emolga somehow paralyzed the Charizard 15 levels above it! Way to go, Electric Rat!
Our rival blocks the way to Victory Road, so the fight continues. I thought Pidgeot would be more difficult, seeing that the level difference was quite noticeable now, but Mr. Krabs goes back to his old habit of stomping the bird down. Rhyhorn is next, and he too decides to participate in the Rhyhorn Fastest Death speedrun, as he goes down to 1 serve. Execute comes out only to be frozen by Mr. Krabs, who makes some delicious egg ice cubes stomping down his frozen body. Gyarados, being part flying type, also suffers from Mr. Krabs' habit of stomping down birds and is sent to the corpse pile. And now, the most feared member of his team comes out, leaving poor Krabs half dead. But the idiot decides to use Recover and Reflect, and we destroy him with pure Krabs strength. Charizard is the last Pokémon in his team, and Krabs gets taken down after trying to extinguish the Charizard's tail. And Dux comes out to take revenge. Charizard just has a tantrum, and Dux takes the wannabe dragon out. And now we finally make our way to the league.
I reach the league after slugging through Victory Road, but I know I'm much too weak for the Elite Four still, much less the champion, so I train in Victory Road against both trainers and wild Pokémon until I'm confident enough to train against the Elite Four. I have hopes I can at least kill some of Lorelei's Pokémon to train against, but aside from Emolga being able to kill Dewgong, everyone else is fodder against Lorelei. Except Jellicent, who somehow manages to kill all of Lorelei's Pokémon with a lot of effort. I wasn't mentally prepared to win, so I attempt to live without success, which means I must hold on and destroy Bruno so that Agatha can kill me, because everyone knows you have to intentionally lose against Bruno. So I half-heartedly revive Lilligant and completely destroy Bruno with a single grass type I have ignored for the greater part of this run. Hey, did Lilligant evolve? It must have. Last time I remember Lilligant, it was a Gloom. Huh, I must have given it the Leaf Stone I had brought so long ago at one point or another. Probably around the time I gave Emolga a Thunderstone. In any case, I allow myself to be convinced to woman up and actually give it a genuine try, and not just die quickly against Agatha. So I revive the only members of my team that matter, Shroomish and Hydreigon, and give the old lady a try.
Once we reach the league, I take a look at my team, and it's very underwhelming. I decide to use my rare candies on Fury to finally evolve him, making him a killing machine, and the rest of the candies go to Mr. Krabs and Dux. This is when it dawned on me that Scar should have taken Dux's place in the team, seeing that they have similar stats with such a level difference. I am sure I'll end up regretting this. But can you blame me? Dux is such a cutie and Scar is not a duck. I had to give the ducky some love. After teaching Fire Blast to Fury, I decide to train inside the Pokémon League, and if I end up winning out of pure luck, then even better. This battle taught me how underprepared I was for the league. Dux died immediately and Stinky did so little damage to the seal that it took a nap from boredom. I tried to brute force my way with Fury, but ends up dying to Cloyster. And next comes a series of kills by Stingy, killing the next 3 Pokémon as Lapras comes out. I had to resort to Toxic to deal with it. Lapras is super tanky, and it ended up killing Stingy, and Mr. Krabs stalled for time until the poison ended it. Well, Lorelei defeated to my surprise. Bruno is known for being one of the weakest Elite Four members. The only way to lose against him is if you do it on purpose. Mr. Krabs is all it took to deal with the entire team.
With a combination of Surf and Strength, we drowned and smashed his Pokémon, making Bruno cry in the corner after realizing that spamming X defense doesn't help against me flooding the room surf after surf.
Against Agatha, the first Gengar gets brought to less than half with Dig, but she predicts the second one and brings out Golbat. I try to put the bat to sleep, but she brings out the injured Gengar again, and I have to dig again to kill it. Golbat comes back out, and I try to put it to sleep, a bit afraid to use Body Slam or Slash as she switches into a Ghost type, but I have no other way to hit it, so I keep at it until Shroomies goes down. I bring out Jellicent before remembering the poor thing had run out of PP against Lorelei, which was the reason I didn't use it against Bruno and instead revived Lilligant. So I have to let it go down so I can bring out Hydreigon, who kills the Arbok and the Hunter before dying to the last Gengar. It has very low health, but I only have Lilligant left. I was still expecting to die as I put it to sleep and Agatha heals it. After a long battle in which Agatha absolutely refuses to kill me despite showing me she's more than capable of it, I win against the old lady. And I can't believe I got this far in my first try!
Agatha is famous for being a pain in the ass with her status effect spams and how random her battles can be. Stingy deals with the first Gengar as she wastes 2 turns trying to heal Gengar with super potions. Against Golbat, I send Mr. Krabs to see if I can kill the rest of the team with him. As I try to kill the bat, Agatha starts freaking out and spams 3 more super potions. And if it wasn't enough, Krabs wastes 2 turns hitting himself in confusion until we finally smash the bat to the ground. I let the next hunter take out Mr. Krabs as it tries to deal as much damage as possible and then send out Fury to purge Agatha's Pokémon with the Cleansing Fire. Agatha must have bought all the super potions in Kanto, because after injuring Arbok, she whips out another one and slaps it against the Arbok. But it's not enough to save it, as Fury already had dug the Arbok's grave and buries it into the ground with his next attack. Her last Gengar wasn't even much of a threat. It kept spamming Dream Eater, so Fury purged the old hag's last Pokémon with a mix of Dig and Flamethrower. What the hell? I'm winning? My team is so underleveled, but we made it to Lance!
I have no right to have made it this far, but I know there's little chance Lance can actually win against me if I deal with the Aerodactyl correctly. So I revive my whole team this time and allow myself to hope that I will make it against the champion on my first try while being underleveled. Emolga deals with the Gyarados and I bring out Medicham before realizing that Dragonair will never KO it, so I can't use it to switch safely into Lilligant. So I allow Medicham to get her first blood against one of the Elite Four's Dragon types. Medicham gets a taste for Dragon Blood, and I switch it to my trusted Jellicent before I realize I only have 5 Ice Beam PPs, so I have to make it count. I use 6 barriers to increase Jellicent's defense, and most importantly, get the badge boost glitch, allowing Jellicent to KO the Aerodactyl that comes next. The last Dragonite can't do anything against Jellicent, but it ran out of PPs, so I have to switch to Lilligant, who slowly manages to bring down the Great Dragon.
Lance proves to be a big challenge since I don't really have anything too strong against it, so I think of a strategy. Said strategy consists of using trash Pokémon to soften up the Gyarados, so Mr. Krabs can take out the rest of the team. Krabs ends Gyarados and the 2 Dragonairs, the second one putting up a fight as it got hit to 1 HP twice. Aerodactyl comes out and Mr. Krabs crits a surf that kills the again! 1 HP again! And to topple it, Lance heals the bloody dinosaur. But lucky us, Krabs crits the next surf again and the little shit goes down. His last Pokémon Dragonite comes out, and I've already won the battle. But not with Mr. Krabs, no. He's just here to sacrifice himself as the real hero takes the stand, our own Holy DAs! Stingy takes the stand and immediately uses Toxic on Dragonite, and the rest is history. I slowly make my way towards the room behind Lance as Dragonite spams Agility and Barrier non-stop while slowly falling to Stingy's poison. Dragonite's lone brain cell thinks that Agility and Barrier, being psychic moves, will deal the most damage to our little bug here. Lance uses Hyper Potion, but that's just delaying the inevitable, and also making his dragon suffer even more. I pat Lance on the back as his Dragonite meets his end, and I enter the champion's room. Now we're one step closer to becoming the winners of this challenge. I mean,
beat the Pokémon League and finish this challenge.
I continue the trend of stepping into the room before healing, and I get punished for it as the battle against Blue begins immediately, so I can't heal my team before the final battle, which is a bit of a tragedy because I had been prepared to use the ethers and elixirs on a Jellicent at least. Emolga cannot kill the Pidgeot, and Jellicent still has no PP, so I bring it out to die so I can switch in safely. But Pidgeot refuses to kill it, so I have to bring out Hydreigon, who of course gets killed. Lilligant suffers the same fate as it wastes the last Mega Drain I had been saving, and Shroomish somehow manages to live with 1 HP and kill the bird. Alakazam comes out though, and takes the opportunity to get revenge for all the crimes we committed against it while my Shroomish is on the verge of death. Medicham dies, and I only have Jellicent left, which would be much less distressing if it wasn't out of PP of everything except Barrier. Thankfully, Alakazam makes it quick and finishes off my Jellyfish. Having gotten so far on my first attempt, I decided it would be in my best interest to teach my Pokémon good moves and try against the League until I win, so I run around a bit to get everything in place before I begin my training montage.
Time to fight our rival and brag about our victory. Pidgeot comes first, and I send out Spaghetti to soften the bird with some poison. Somehow Spaghetti survives a wing attack, but of course Spaghetti ends up dying anyway, and we send out Mr. Krabs, the bird stomper, to deal with it. Alakazam is next, and I fear for my life. This monster could kill my entire team if it wanted. I make the mistake of switching to Stingy, and it takes a Psychic to the face, dying in one critical hit.
Mr. Krabs tried to take it out, but as expected, it wasn't good enough. So I send out my strongest doggo and pray. Fury does little damage to Alakazam, who decides that using Recover is a great way to annoy me. And he is correct! Not only that, but Fury also goes down to the mustached bastard. Ducks and Scar are left. I first send out the Ducks, and immediately attack. But he hits us hard with a Psybeam and we survive? Ducks uses Slash on Alakazam and we take him down with a crit. Okay, so Rhydon comes out and I decide to use Scar to take it out, cheesing it with a double team play. So basically, Rhydon keeps missing and Scar chips away his HP and eventually goes down. Executor takes the field, and I feel I will run out of moves, but Executor makes sure I don't have to worry as he ends up destroying Scar with a barrage. Dux is our only hope. I go for a cheeky swords dance and he misses a Hypnosis. I use Fly and avoid another Hypnosis, and then we kill it on the second turn. This was turning out alright, and Gyarados is next. I try to stall with Fly, but a Dragon Rage takes us out.
At the beginning of my second attempt, otherwise known as my special training montage, I get the Mulga to defeat half of Lorelei's team before it dies against Slowbro. Jinx then proceeds to almost wipe out my team, forcing me to bring out Jellicent, and then Lapras puts an end to my training attempt. That pointless death should have invigorated my team enough to do well next time, because there is no better teacher than pain.
On my second attempt, I had no issues reaching the champion, but it doesn't really get any better. Alakazam is too powerful and too fast. I am worried that I'll be trying too many times and keep fainting because of that overpowered Spoonbender. The bastard just keeps spamming recover after recover. I do end up killing it, but the effort that it takes leaves me weak against the rest of his team.
My third time in the Elite Four goes even worse than my second, and Emolga dies to the Cloyster. Lilligant takes care of the Shellfish and puts Slowbro to sleep so that I can bring out Shroomish and set up properly with Swords Dance. Jinx once again almost wiped up my team, and Jellicent has to deal with the fallout, but this time manages to finish off the Jinx and Lapras with Hydro Pump. Bruno is nothing more than a blip in the radar and extra healing for Lilligant, as it fails to deal with anything harder than a wet paper noodle, much less Lilligant's recently developed toxic strats. Against Agatha, I had planned to put the Gengar to sleep and set up, but instead, Shroomish is put to nap instead. Instead of killing Shroomish though, Agatha switches to Golbat and Shroomish wakes up because of a disturbance in the force. Despite not really wanting to set up against Golbat and its haze, beggars can be choosers, so I put the bat to sleep and start to do exactly that. Since the universe has to punish me for my evil deeds, Golbat wakes up and does the very thing I didn't want him to do, use haze, forcing me to give up my original strategy and switch to Emolga. Emolga kills the Golbat, and while I wait for the Gengar to kill it, so I can get a safe switch, Agatha switches into Hunter for some unfathomable reason. Finally, Emolga goes down and I can get Hydreigon out. Hunter dies, but Gengar lives with low health. Knowing she can't do anything against me except put me to sleep, I set up some double teams to show her I'm not scared. Luckily, my attempt to assert dominance didn't backfire, and I didn't fall asleep, so the Gengar goes down. Arbok is brought to low health, and Agatha uses a retroactive super potion, allowing me to kill her snake the next turn. I use one double team more to flex, before killing the Gengar and defeating Agatha. Lance's Gyarados and Jellicent go at it for a bit. I had failed to heal since I had fully planned to die to Lance, so I could start anew and get some more levels. Unfortunately, I also failed at Pokémon, life and failure so hard that I won, sweeping Lance's whole team once Gyarados had gone down.
And now we skip to my 5th attempt. Lorelei isn't that big of a challenge since my team has had ample time to level up after failing constantly against the champion. Except when Stingy and Dugs lose against Lapras and Mr. Krabs has to come out and end it with pure raw strength. Bruno was a pushover, nothing to explain except that I wiped his team with the power of water and strength. At this point I think I've mastered Agatha. Fury is incredibly strong and can take out the entirety of the Ghost team by himself. The fight against Lance went smoothly. Kinda. I bought some time with Spaghetti, poisoning the Water Onyx and ending it with Mr. Krabs. The Dragonairs are not a problem. And then Aerodactyl ends up killing Mr. Krabs, but since it was almost dead, my brain decides to shut off and bring the bee out to fight the flying dinosaur. And by shutting my brain off, I suddenly use Mega Drain to deal basically no damage to Aerodactyl. Then Aerodactyl hits hard with a takedown, and I end it with a Twin Needle. Dragonite is basically the same as before. I use Toxic and then wait it out until it dies. Once defeated, I prepare myself to hopefully defeat the champion this time. It's time for the truth. Spaghetti poisons Pidgeot and we use the same tactic as before, stall for time by using Bind, but we miss and Pidgeot mirror moves us and we go down. Fury is next and Pidgeot decides to use Whirlwind, which really does nothing. I use Flamethrower and he charges a Sky attack, but since we're faster, it goes down in the next attack. Alakazam comes out and this time we're faster than him and almost kill him with a takedown. He goes for Reflect, but now it matters no more. Alakazam goes down with a second takedown and Raiden comes next. I decide to switch to Mr. Krabs and Surfing Time crits his ass and it goes down. Executor comes out and I switch to Fury. We fall asleep to Hypnosis, but I wake up immediately. Flamethrower takes him to half HP and he goes for Barrage for very little damage. A second Flamethrower takes the Weed out. Gyarados comes out and I go for Takedown for very little damage. Hydro Pump hits us and takes us down. I send on Mr. Krabs and crit him with Strength. Gyarados goes for Leer, but he misses, and then we kill it with Strength. And then, the final Pokémon comes out, Charizard. We can't outspeed the fake dragon, and it slashes us, but it does very little damage. And I use Strength and deal little damage to it. I go for Surf this time, and the shit face goes for Rage. A critical Surf takes him down, and victory is ours. It took us 5 attempts, but we finally beat the Pokémon League.
Despite the fact I had planned to die to Lance, my pride forced me to heal and give Blue a bit of a challenge, in the hopes at least some of my team would get a few levels out of this attempt. I briefly considered using the elixirs and ethers I had, but the dragon hoarder in me refused to waste those limited items in a half-hearted attempt. I bring out Shroomish first for a change, and put the Pidgeot to sleep, planning to set up and get some levels that way. Pidgeot goes down and Alakazam is forced out, trembling before fainting dead when it came face to face with Shroomish. Rhyhorn comes out and of course hits a one-hit KO move. Shroomish was so much slower and at a much lower level, but I'm still salty the damn move hit. Lilligant takes care of the Rhyhorn but gets put to sleep by Execute, so I have to bring out Jellicent, who also gets put to sleep. Between Barrage and getting put to sleep again, Jellicent goes down, having hit a single Ice Beam. Hydreigon takes revenge on the heinous crimes against Jellicent with Drill Peck, but next is Gyarados. Re-attack does a lot, but Hydreigon dies to a Hydro Pump before I can finish it. Jellicent is dead. Hydreigon is dead. Any hope to maybe win this time is also 6 feet under and pushing daisies like Blue's Raticate. I bring out Emolga and it manages to kill the Gyarados. But Charizard is next and I have nothing for this thing that isn't a twinkling star in the sky. Emolga somehow survives a fire blast and paralyzes the Charizard. But Emolga also got burned and dies the next turn. I bring out my sleeping Lilligant and it wakes up, which is fortunate because I had already forgotten it was asleep. Not that I had any other options, since my only other Pokémon left is Medicham. Unfortunately, the Charizard is already paralyzed, so I cannot try to put it to sleep or toxic it. So I do the only thing I can and use Cut to leave it at half health. Charizard then uses Fire Spin, and even though it's paralyzed, I can't do anything except watch as Lilligant dies. So I bring up Medicham, and I wait for my death with honor. My Mega Kick I taught him simply for the lols hits, and Charizard uses Rage? He's locked onto that now, and my second Mega Kick hits, and I survive the second Rage. I'm doing basically no damage, and I'm 35 levels below it. So I'm a bit frustrated he uses Rage and wastes everyone's time, since he could have killed Medicham with literally any other move, even Fire Spin. And then Medicham, the hero, the legend, my hole in the ace, my ultimate weapon, the last gambit, gets a critical hit, kills the Charizard, levels up, and wins me the Pokémon battle with a kick. So that's how I completed Pokémon Red with a Shroomish, Emolga, Lilligant, Jellicent, Hydreigon, and the hero of the day, Medicham, with a time of 18 hours and 52 minutes. Of course, Professor Oak doesn't know how to celebrate stuff and decides to remind me one of his aides has the Flash HM, to which I show him my middle finger and my champion certificate of whatever official proof of having beaten the league. I ain't having nobody's aid.
As for me, I got a time of 21 hours and 7 minutes, which means that Ulti is the ultimate winner!
Yes!
1 point to Team Dragon!
Yes!
So, now that she won, she will say which game we're going to be playing next.
Since neither of us has played it before, the next challenge will take place in Pokémon Crystal, and we'll be doing the same type of challenge for now, choosing each other's team.
We hope you all enjoyed the challenge. Did you like it? Any favorite moments? Anything we should change for the next challenge? This is the first time we made something this big and it was a lot of fun from start to finish.
I won't lie, this challenge was something we started in November 2021.
And it has been difficult to work on it due to being busy as heck and other stuff.
But hey, at least it didn't take us a whole year, right? Yeah.
Being able to work side by side with my girlfriend was wonderful, and we will continue the series of challenges soon. Remember to subscribe if you haven't done it before, so you can be notified when our next video comes out. Thank you so much for joining us in this adventure, and we hope to see you soon. Bye bye!